All right, guys, so today what we're doing is the thermostat on the G-Wagon because it's fell to the cold side. Ordinarily, a thermostat on a regular car is anywhere from $10 to $50, depends on what it is, right? So the G-Wagon is not that. The G-Wagon is super special, right? It may look similar to every other thermostat. It may take the same 10 cents worth of plastic every other thermostat takes, but it's $300, all right? Why? Well, because G-Wagon, right? This is particular only to the M157 engine, so it has to be a 63 car this year. It has to be C63, E63, G63, CLS, on and on, right? There's like 10 different cars that have this, that all use this engine. However, if you guys want to do this job, I'll put a link in the description for this, because you will need this. The symptoms of this were it was failing to the cold side. When it fails to the cold side, it never wants to warm up all the way. On a turbo engine, that means your turbos are never warm all the way. So if you boost it when it's not warm, you run the risk of grenading the turbo or the engine. So this thing would warm up eventually. It'd take a very long time. But as the weather's getting colder, it's becoming more and more of a problem. So I thought, let's not wait, let's go ahead and do it. There's no other videos of doing this on the internet, of actually doing it. So we're going to go along here. This is our first time doing it. We'll try to take a little bit apart and turn you guys on and show you so it's not a freaking mess. And if you have to do this at home, you could actually do it and not have much of a problem. Okay, so here's where we're at right now. Right now we are, I have to give it to Mercedes. They went out of their way to try to make this non-serviceable, right? So essentially what we're trying to do is get this pipe out. So what we had to do is, first of all, take it off the front of the turbo, which is down here. This thing's on a tripod, so I don't know if I can get it or not. Off the front of the turbo, which is down there, all right? And there's one screw. There's multiple screws up here, and I'm going to have to pull this out to show you guys. We've had to take off this. This is a power steering line, which everything's in the wrong spot. I have to apologize for that. The power steering line, which went over the top of this hard pipe and hooked up here. So there's one screw that holds it to the power steering pump. You got to take this off, flip it up. Once you do that, once you have this bolt here that holds the pipe, which we'll take it out here in a second and show you. Once you have all that crap out of the way, you can take it out. Is it easy? No, it is not. It's horrible. Horrible. So here we have the mounting thing right here, the tab. Here we have a little bit of oil in our coolant pipe, or in our boost tube. And there is that. Let's set this up here out of the way for right now. We also took the little spout here, which over here is right there. We took that off of this side. So you're trying to get everything off the top of it. And there's also two bolts in here that holds on the power steering. All right. Now we have access to get our thermostat out, which is right here, essentially. So let's pull that off. We'll be right back, because we're going to take the belt off too, which is probably an extremely good time. And while we have that off, we're going to spin all the pulleys, check the belt, make sure everything's good. This thing has 85,000 miles on it, and a lot of the coolant items are deteriorated severely. We've already replaced a bunch of them, but anything we see wrong in here, we'll have to take note of and order the parts. Here is the old thermostat housing right here. Let me flip this over here so I can make sure I'm showing the right thing. That's the old one. The thermostat is all broken out of it. You can see all the plastics all just deteriorated, totally shot. I'm looking down in it to see if I can see what's hung open. There is crap way down the head of it that's hanging it open. So we have our new one here. You know it's a solid one piece. The O-ring that's in the engine that goes against this, they did not give us a new one with it. So we are going to gently clean and put a lubrication on that. So we put this back in, we have a nice tight seal. Now, what I'm a little bit worried about, hopefully what's stuck in the thermostat is the crap that's missing right here. It probably is. Hopefully it's not some plastic from another deterioration in the system is hung up in the head of that. But nevertheless, here's the new thermostat. We're gonna throw it in right now. All right, so you can see here, I do a little voiceover, but we have the new thermostat installed. It just barely snakes in there. There's a little hard vacuum line in the way. You got to snake it down through there. And we didn't see any broken pieces in this thing, but there was definitely broken pieces somewhere in it. Nowhere we get to them from the old thermostat. After closer inspection, there was pretty large pieces of plastic gone off of it. So I guess that'll probably turn up somewhere at some point in time. And then we have the boost tube we're getting ready to put on here. I sprayed that thing with carburetor cleaner, and I can't seem to have any success on cleaning it whatsoever. I'm just pointing to the bolts here real quick. The mounting, 3 mounting bolts and the one that holds it up. And here's the boost tube. And you can see how nasty it is. Nothing really we do about it. So we're just going to reinstall it the way it is. Wiggle in the turbo, make sure there's no play in the turbo while you got it off. And this one checked out good with no problem at all. We have this line here is actually the coolant line. I think that feeds the turbos. It's a separate reservoir in the middle right here. So we pulled that off. Didn't lose much fluid. We gotta make sure and top that back off though, as we did. And then let's point to it here. Power steering line is also in the way. You see it hanging up there on the right, zip tied to the hood prop. And that was also another messy situation. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a crazy job, but it's definitely not any fun whatsoever. While you're down here, spin all the pulleys, check everything out. Here I'm pointing at the power steering line. So not too hard, it's just a mess. And that is a metal sleeve that slides over the rubber and then bolts to the turbo. When we put this thing back in, guys, you gotta make sure that you push that on all the way. You have to look at it carefully before you tighten the clamp up. Otherwise it will blow off under boost. Okay, so we got her up and running. You can see it sitting there. Definitely not a job you want to do I mean, if you're not very advanced, you don't want to be doing that. You're going to have a big mess on your hands. Your car is going to be broken down somewhere. You don't want to be broken down. Level 1 to 10, I would say, well, we did some pretty crazy stuff here. I would say maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. 10 being the hardest, level 1 being the easiest. If you don't have a lot of specific tools, don't try this. If you don't have a lot of patience, don't try it. Even worse would be the water pump and doing that. We're not quite to the mileage yet that's calling for a water pump, but at some point we will. So take it as you will. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. We'll see y'all later.